Okay, Wendy. One of the things we are working on right now this week in the Possibility Spa is around two different practices, and one of them is what is called rule number 6,
Yes.
which we've talked about a little bit off camera. And rule number 6 is don't take yourself so damn seriously. And I think most people can get a very clear idea of what that is, but what is, like, how do you deal with that?
Like when I am taking myself so seriously?
Yeah.
How do
like
I shift?
Yeah. Because there's a lot of different ways you can do that, and we're capturing all sorts of different ways to deal with things like that. So how do you do that?
Got to kind of shake it off a little.
Yeah.
It's like, serious.
Yeah.
Well, first it's noticing that you're taking yourself so seriously.
Okay.
Be around children. They'll call you on it in a minute. I have an 8-year-old niece, Emily, who will look at me and say, "Why are you so serious, Aunt Wendy?" And I'm like, "Oh, why am I so serious?"
Yeah.
So it's noticing, you know, and so noticing and then making a shift.
Yeah.
And I think it also comes from your perspective, you know, how you choose to see yourself. Now, what I do as a coach is important work. You know, it really is. And I had a boss who used to tell me, not when I was a coach, but when I worked for Aveda, that would tell me, "You know, Wendy, it's not a big deal. You're not a brain surgeon. If you don't get to them, no one's going to die." And that's what I look at in my life. I still keep that in my mind. It's like, no matter what I do, unless it is that important, it's not that important.
Yeah.
What's most important for me is to remember to enjoy the journey. And when I could remember that, and I just remember that from teaching about joy, that I could remember not to take myself so seriously.
And as you're just saying that, you can just feel the energy shift from one of not a lot of room, not a lot of creativity when you take yourself so seriously, to one, it just expands. It just opens back up. And that's really another way of thinking about possibility is when things expand, you know it's there.
Absolutely.
You know it's there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing that I have been working on for many years, and I think it's a process, I think it's a lifetime journey, is being able to stay connected to spirit to release my connection to ego. You know, that is when I'm in my place of ego and having to prove myself, then I take things very seriously.
Yes.
And it's really not that serious at that point. So it's remembering, you know, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and that, you know, coming from a place of peace and love is much more important to me than having to get it perfect. And when I get into that perfect ego place, then everything becomes very serious, and the joy goes away.
Yes.
And that's my barometer.
Yep.
Joy goes away, possibilities go away, fun goes away. Forget it.
Authentic Wendy goes away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said it beautifully in your own words, because that's what rule number 6 is. It's this noticing between your calculating self, which is your measuring self, which is your self that is worried about being perfect, and your central self, which is your self that is coming from what's really important to you.
Yes.
Which, for most people at the human experience, it's about being in joy. It's about being in a place of giving and just being in the present.
Yes.
So
very important to be in the present.
You said it beautifully. You said it beautifully.
Gorgeous.
So, gorgeous.